What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to go over how to prep your file for funding. The goal of this video is to help you get higher approvals and better terms. So let's dive into it. All right, what do you really need? This is a very, very important question. It's a highly debated question. There's so many fake gurus on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok talking about no doc loans, credit score doesn't matter, funding simply, just open up an LLC, get this. And the thing about it is, y'all, it's simply not true or that cut and dry. So in this video, I'm going to break down what you really need to get funding. So we have two options. You have the startup and you have the business. So a startup is pre-revenue, sole prop, or anything under 2 years. Business is a business making 15K plus per month in revenue and over 2 years old. So startup needs, what is required and what is not required. So as a startup, you need to be a US citizen with a social security number. You need to have qualified credit. You need to have personal income, a personal bank account, and a current tax return. What is not required for a startup is an LLC or corporation, is an EIN, is a business bank account, and business income. The reason being is because we are a startup. What makes you a startup? Let's make this very clear, because a lot of people misunderstand what a startup is. So a startup, when it comes to financing, can be many things. It could be pre-revenue, which means you just came up with this idea. You've never made any money from it. You've not made a single thing. You might not even have a website or even a logo or a business name, but you have an idea. Next, no LLC, no EIN, no business bank account. You're a startup. If you're a sole prop, you're a startup. If you're talking about the side hustles, think about people that are even driving for like Uber and Lyft. That is a side hustle. You can turn this into a business and you are a startup now. And if you're a business making under 15K a month, or if you're a business under 2 years old, you go into the startup category. So what will lenders ask from you? Will they really ask? Number one, they're going to ask your credit score. I don't care what everyone's telling you. They are lying. They are going to ask for your credit score. If they soft pull it, they're still looking at your credit score. If you're not personally guaranteeing it, they're still looking at your credit score. Do not get misled or tricked by these things. Next, your personal income. Why are they asking for personal income? They're asking for personal income because you do not have a viable, history-proven business producing business revenue. So right now, in order for you to get a loan, they're going to look at your personal income. So what is that? That's pay stubs or your adjusted gross income on your tax return. Pay stubs or your adjusted gross income on your tax return. They will want your personal tax return. They want to make sure that you are up to date on taxes. They want to make sure that you can afford the loan. And they're going to want proof of identity, driver's license, things like that. They're going to do a background check. What lenders will not ask you for? If you are searching for authentic startup funding, they will not ask for your EIN. They will not ask for your paydex score. They are not asking for a Duns and Bradstreet. Now, I've said this multiple times online, and I will have fake gurus yelling that, oh, this is public info, so they don't ask you for it. That is not why. That is simply not why. If things were not asked because it was public info, you would just sign off on release forms and would get all that public info. So don't listen to that. It's a load of crap. Right. What makes you a business? Now, we talked about what categorizes you as a startup, okay? So what makes you a business? Obviously, if you're an LLC or a corporation, please keep in mind, C and S corps are for taxes. You are not an S corp. You are not a C corp. You are either an LLC or a corporation. Your S or C corp is how you're filing your taxes. Okay. Next, what makes you a business? Having an EIN, also having a business bank account, having active clients. If you have an LLC, an EIN, and a business bank account, and you're not making any money, you have a business on paper, but you don't have a business that can get funding. And next, your business revenue should be over 15K a month. That's what lenders consider you to be a viable business. Now, what will lenders ask you for? Now, depending on who the lender is, whether it's a local bank, a local credit union, or an online lender or an alternative lender, they will ask for multiple documents. Do not get tricked by the fake gurus on these platforms claiming no doc loans. I will let you know 99% of these videos where they're talking about a no doc loan with a lender, I work with those lenders personally, and they ask for between 5 and 12 documents. So these no doc loan TikToks or Reels are total BS. They are going to request docs from you. If you are looking for over $50,000 in a loan, you're going to have to provide a tax return, period. That's how these things work. So let's break down all the possible things lenders will ask you for. Now, they're going to ask for your social security number and your credit score. Whether they do a soft pull or not, they are still going to look at your social security number. They're going to want business bank statements. Some people ask for 3, some people ask for 6, some people ask for 12. They'll want a business tax return. If you don't have one, because let's say you're a newer business, you won't be approved for over 50K. They'll want a voided check from your primary bank account. They're going to want financials. Financials are either balance sheets, profit and loss. They want it for current year and usually the last year. They're going to want a website. Some of them will do a site interview. If you're super new to this, one of the best ways for you to find out if someone's an expert or not is to ask them if the funding program is going to do a site interview. Most brokers and basic amateur people will have no idea what you're talking about. Site interviews occur if you claim that you work from home, if you have a trucking company or other things where you might be storing equipment. These are the reasons for site interviews. Also, if they just have some concerns overall, they'll want to do a site interview. They're going to ask you for your business address, your personal address. They're going to ask for an ownership breakdown. If you're not a 100% owner, chances are, depending on the program, they're going to want all owners on the application. And if you are the owner with really good credit and your co-owners have shitty credit, that will affect you. Next, your landlord and your business address. They may actually ask for 3 months of proof that you have paid your rent. So that's another thing. An AP or an AR report. AP stands for accounts payable. AR is accounts receivable. So if you are an invoice net 30 to net 90 company, they will ask for those. They will ask for your merchant statements. Merchant statements are from your payment processor. And you may be asked for invoices. Again, this is overall for whether it's an SBA, equipment financing, invoice factoring. Sometimes you may only be asked for some of these things. Like for an MCA, you'll get an application, business bank statements, tax return, voided check, ID, and then they'll do a landlord check. They'll do maybe a site interview depending on your business, and then you'll get the funding. So what lenders won't ask you for? Here we go again. Your Paydex score, your Duns and Bradstreet. They're not being asked for. They're just simply not. For equipment financing, for SBA, for invoice factoring, they'll take a look at your business credit. But those are very specific times and situations. Otherwise, those things just aren't going to be asked for because they're not even one of the more important factors in getting you approved. So what should you avoid? And I talk about this often. Please avoid CPNs or credit sweeps. They will actually hurt your credit more than they help. Avoid online bank accounts. There are many bank accounts that you can have as a business that will prevent you from getting funding. It'll prevent you from getting certain payment processors. So avoid Chime at all costs. Actually avoid Capital One and Bluevine. Any lender that offers a bank account, what they're trying to do is really bogart you, like keep you to them, right? So you don't want to utilize these. I know some people have problems with big banks. I get it. And I fully understand. I have the same issues. But you want your primary account to be with a big bank for several growth and opportunity reasons. Also, using Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle, I would avoid these at all costs. Go ahead and get you Square. If you need the link to get Square and want help, you can go ahead and message me. Again, transfers in and out. If you're trying to get funding in the next, 3 to 12 months, you're not going to be wanting to do transfers. And the commingling your money, again, if you have multiple businesses or if you have personal income and business income, do not commingle them. Separate everything. Okay. So what should you do? So if you're prepping your file, you're wanting to get funding in the next 3 to 12 months, what should you be doing? First, enrolling credit repair. Your credit can always be improved. You want to make sure that your credit is as strong as it possibly can so you can qualify for the lowest rates and longest terms. You want to make sure you use the right type of business address. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I go over how to find the right business address. So I'll do it real quick one more time. The hack is you take whatever business address you're considering getting for your business, you type it into Google Maps, and you see if it's an office building. If it's an office building, great. If it's any other type of building, pass. Only get a virtual address that appears and operates as an office building. Next, bank with big banks for your primary account. I just said that. Like I said, I love Chase. Sometimes I don't like Chase, but Chase is great. So if you need a link for Chase, let's get you set up there. Use a merchant processor. Like I said, start with Square, and then we'll migrate and we'll upgrade you to a merchant account when you reach certain revenue goals. You want to report all your revenue for the first 2 years. I know that that doesn't help with your tax liability, but it's going to help establish you as a strong business. Keep your bank account clean. Again, when I say keep your bank account clean, your business bank account, you should not be using your business card for personal purchases. Make sure you're using it for business purposes, and focus on gaining clients more than establishing business credit. One of the biggest mistakes I see people do is they will spend their time, money, focus, and resources on establishing business credit instead of fixing their personal credit and finding clients. In order for you to have a real business, you need to have paying clients. So that should be your focus over establishing business credit. So what can you get for startup funding? Okay, I'm breaking this down. So for startup funding, if you have a 500 to 600 credit score, you have very few options, maybe a few fintechs. For 600 to 649, you have subprime term loans. So you can still get term loans. That's a monthly payment, usually a 2 to 7 year term. From 650 to 680, that's when you get your better cost term loans. And a 680 plus is where the banks and the credit unions open up, where you can get business and personal credit cards. So again, the better and stronger the credit score, the more options you have and the lower the rates can be. So what can lead to declines? So again, if you have more than 4 inquiries over the last 10 months, you'll be in auto decline regardless of how strong that credit score is. If you have late payments in the last 10 months, it will make it very challenging to get approved for. If you have high utilization, really anything over 40%, you are increasing the risk of getting a decline. If you have active charge-offs or collections, or even old ones, those are going to need to be removed in order for you to get approvals. If you have bank fraud alerts, again, if you have an online bank account like Chime, you will not be able to get funded. So if you do get approved for a loan and everything's good, and the last part is for you to link your account and you have a Chime account, you will get declined for that. And then again, with bankruptcy, depending on how recent your bankruptcy is, where you're at in the process, we have definitely found great success for bankruptcy people of over 3 or 4 years on there. So we've been able to get them financing, but that bankruptcy can affect you. What can you get with business funding? So pay very close attention because it's something different. So with business funding, and even below 500, you can get approved for. I just don't really like those lenders. Like Vader is not a lender that I would recommend, but they can approve you for as low as like 450, 480, depending on your file. But between 500 and 649, you can get an MCA. It's also called revenue-based funding. Some people call it working capital funding. Most brokers will call it anything but an MCA because MCAs come with a bit of luggage, we'll put it that way. If you have a 649 to a 680, that's where you can definitely see equipment loans and lines of credit. From a 680 to a 720, that's when you can get term loans and business credit cards. And then the 720 plus really is what we prefer to promote, especially in the current situation of America, not to get political, but banks are definitely tightening up and they're taking longer to underwrite. So for banks, credit unions, or SBA options, you're definitely going to want that 720. Again, what can lead to declines on the business side is if you don't have enough revenue, if your revenue is inconsistent, if you're in a certain industry that's considered restricted or that the lender doesn't work with. Home-based businesses are actually something that you need to let the lender know up front. If you don't and you get approved and then it comes back as a home-based business, you can actually lose that approval. If your cash flow isn't strong enough, so cash flow is what's going into your account and staying in your account. and then a background check. So in business, you can actually get declined for funding if you are a felon or have certain charges on your account. Anything to do with sexual assault, trafficking, drug trafficking, any type of violent crimes. These are things that can lead to a decline in your business funding. Beware of certain statements. So, oh my gosh, y'all, it's when you've been in the industry for 5+ years like me, it gets really frustrating to see some of the ways that people are marketing. So if you see any of these statements on social media, run, because they just aren't accurate. I won't say that they're not true. They're not accurate, right? So your credit score doesn't matter is a huge deceitful marketing ploy. They're just trying to get you to apply, and most likely they're going to sell you a merchant cash advance. If anyone's guaranteeing funding or guaranteeing a grant, that is a lie. Run. First of all, they're not even legally allowed to guarantee anything according to the FTC and the SEC. So they're not even allowed to guarantee that. Guarantees have to come with an actual guarantee. Anyone doing no doc loans over 100K, let alone over 50K, is just simply not true. The SBA does not loan individuals with credit scores of a 580 plus. I've seen the 580 plus SBA loans since the PPP came out. That's just not true. They're not lending to anyone with a 580. And EIN only loans, they actually don't exist completely. I've been trying to get any fake guru to send me proof that they've gotten one, and it's never happened because it doesn't exist. So an EIN only loan doesn't exist, y'all. So what questions do you have for me? Again, go ahead and comment below, like and subscribe, check out my other videos. If you have a more direct question that you don't want to make public, my contact information is always below in the bio. And if you're looking for funding and you want to go ahead and apply, we don't do a hard pull. We'll review your file and we will give you the options that you qualify for. But like I said, check out my other videos. And if you have questions, go ahead and comment below.